This is our oyster episode, and thanks to Heidi and Carl from Facebook, we're at Gris-Gris in the Lower Garden District to check out an award-winning oyster dish in a former turn-of-the-century oyster house. Heidi said this place is amazing, and Carl raved about the Oyster BLT. Voodoo, classic New Orleans architecture, fried oysters, and smoked pork belly. Let's check it out. Hey, Chef.
How are you?
Wow, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Welcome to Gris-Gris.
Thank you. So before we get to your famous Oyster BLT, tell me about the name, Gris-Gris.
Gris-Gris. Well, as you know, Gris-Gris is a good old-fashioned New Orleans term, and it can be, perceived as magic.
It's amazing, like the architecture, the corner. Tell me about the history.
Such a beautiful location here on 1800 Magazine. The building itself, many years ago, was an oyster house, actually, in the early 1800s.
One of my favorite spots about a house is the kitchen. I love the open kitchen and this countertop.
Yeah, it's something really special because in New Orleans we're very social diners, and there's nothing more exciting than being in the kitchen and having fun with your family while smelling all those great smells going on.
And we all love to eat, right?
We do love to eat. Everyone in New Orleans loves to eat.
So the Oyster BLT.
It just kind of came together by chance. Usually is how it does. We start with an idea and then things just kind of float around. It's magic, when things come together. And that dish in particular with the great local Gulf oysters, the amazing sweet tomato jam with just that hint of sugarcane vinegar, and then you pull it together with that smoky pork and that peppery arugula. It's the perfect bite. When you get it all together, it's one of those things that just makes you say, wow.
Yeah, it just sounds to die for.
Well, I can't wait to get in the back in the kitchen right here behind us and show you how the magic rolls. Let's talk about the ingredients, right? So obviously we have some amazing local Gulf oysters, and we can buy within the Gulf. That's all we do. We will never import anything outside of our Gulf states.
I love that.
Pork belly, it's bacon. Who doesn't love bacon?
It's like glorified bacon. So
exactly.
Do I get to get my hands dirty?
Absolutely, let's get into this, right?
Let's do it. So these oysters have been sitting in egg whites?
Correct, egg whites. It gives this texture, this crispiness to the oysters, almost like a binder. I'm just gonna lay them in there and let them do their magic. And I'll give everybody a little secret about oysters. An oyster will talk to you when it's cooking. And it's a true story. You're gonna hear this little chatter going on right now. And when they stop singing, you know they're ready to come out. And that's a little trick I learned a long time ago.
Tell me about what I am putting down as the base of this BLT.
Cherry tomatoes, sugar, cane vin, all the way down, and you got yourself a little hit right there.
Okay, I'm no chef, but how did I do on spreading the jam?
It's perfect, exactly right. And now we're gonna do a little bit of assembly, right?
Okay, oyster.
Right, we'll go oyster.
Pork belly.
We'll drop our little pork belly on it. We'll drop another oyster on there.
Yep.
We just wanna shingle this pork belly and these oysters. And then we have our little greens here, and this is just some micro arugula. And all we're gonna do is add just a touch of sugarcane vinegar to that. And we're just gonna kind of let it naturally fold on top.
Okay, so I have mine. I'm gonna head upstairs and meet you at the gallery.
Sounds good.
Okay, Chef. Cheers.
Cheers.
It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Let's dig in.
Let's do this.
That's legit. The sweetness with the jam, with all of it, just really brings it all together.
It is. It's a subtlety, a flavor, but every component kind of has to do its job in this dish.
There's so many different textures going on.
And then that crispy, perfectly fried Gulf oyster is just always the star of the show.
Why do people love to eat this dish?
It's memory food. New Orleans is a very social town, and we're very social eaters. Sometimes the food just needs to be a secondary line where people just want to see each other and know, like, hey, how are you, and catch up with family and friends. Dishes like this remind you that, oh yeah, this is what we do in New Orleans. This is who we are. This is why we love to eat in New Orleans.
It's crispy, sweet, salty, everything you want.
First time we came here, he actually didn't get it and I did because he didn't want to eat bread. So I got the much better dish.
The Oyster BLT is one of the best meals I've ever had.
Chef, thank you so much for having us today. This has been phenomenal, and I can see why people love to eat your Oyster BLT. Bringing together an old New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, extremely talented chefs, local ingredients, and an open kitchen, we can see why Heidi and Carl love to eat at Gris-Gris.